This is what slightly our problem is. We don't understand the language. If we understood the language of the Quran, it would move people. Why do you think people upstairs, when they're reading the Quran, the Ai who are leading us inside prayer, why were they weeping for? Why were grown men weeping? Why are they weeping for? Is there something wrong with their masculinity that they're weeping? It's because the power of the Quran. It's the language of the Quran. It's the words of the Quran. It's the reminder of the Quran. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. If the Quran was set down on a mountain, it would cleft it asunder, turn it into dust. That's how powerful the Quran is, the words of the Quran. So what should happen to an individual when they hear the Quran, how it should move them? Umar al-Khattab, he was notorious sometimes we think that we're notorious in the haram things that we do. Go and read the seerah, the life of some of the companions. Tata'ajjab, you'll be startled. You'll be startled that this is what some of these people are doing inside their life. But when they hear the Quran, Surah Taha, the 20th chapter of the Quran, the first 14 verses, Imam Bayhaqi in his Dala'il al-Nubuwwah mentions, when Umar ibn Khattab heard these ayat, look how it changed him. Taha, ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa. Quran hasn't been sent down to make you feel upset, to make you feel wretched. Quran is there to awaken you, to make you become a better individual. Till eventually Allah then mentioned, Innani ana Allah la ilaha illa ana fa'budni wa aqimis salata li dhikri. And indeed, I am the only one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And obey me, worship me, and establish the prayer li dhikri, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what moved Umar al-Khattab, moved him away from a path of jahiliyyah, a path of haram towards al-Islam, was the words and the impact of the Quran. That's why you study the Quran when it speaks about khuluq, when it speaks about character and behavior. Look at Surah Al-Furqan, the 25th chapter of the Quran. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنَ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. You want to learn characteristics of believers? Look at the end of Surah Al-Furqan, the 25th chapter of the Quran, how Allah describes the believing servants, how they tread upon the earth in a state of humility. Ignorant people who molest them, who disturb them, who take them away, take away from the time. That's what most people are, juhal, they're ignorant. Anybody who doesn't remind you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking you away from Allah. That's why kullu dunya mal'una, all this world is cursed. إِلَّا ذِكْرَ اللَّهِ وَمَا وَالَاهُ, except for the dhikr of Allah and whatever is linked to it. Or aliman or muta'alliman, or a person who's a scholar, a person who's trying to learn. Apart from that, the whole of this dunya is cursed. وَمَا فِيهَا, and everything inside this dunya. Read through the ayat inside the Quran. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد. What is this world full of? Nothing but pompous joy, boasting amongst one another of the trivial things of this world, of our children, our wealth, our property, play, amusement, games. I'm not saying we shouldn't enjoy ourselves, have a good life and play games, but when your whole life just becomes a game, everything about you becomes a game inside your life. It's just a gaming world, just a game. Then your life becomes a game. What is it? You're lost away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have no upper achievements, no lofty achievements. You just have that basic element. I just want to be a basic individual. We don't want basic individuals anymore. You know, we aspire for much more in our youth. Much more in our youth, that they become, that the person who hears the words, the prophetic words in the Quran, that they understand it far more powerfully than the one who delivers it. That's what the Prophet ﷺ, he said. He said, the person who hears the words takes that message, and the impact of the message is far more powerful in them. That's what we want inside our society. Surah Al-Mu'minun, the 23rd chapter of the Quran. How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begin? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. 23rd chapter of the Quran, Allah describes the believing individuals. Who are the believers? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. First sifah about them, first description about them, they are sincere inside their praise. Then once again, read from Surah Al-Furqan that we mentioned, the 25th chapter, inside here, Surah Al-Mu'minun. Look at their traits. Their traits are they're guarding their chastity. They preserve their dignity. You know, the essence of a male, of a human being, a Muslim, is hifdul farj. The essence of a Muslim is to guard their chastity. To guard it is not to live a free life, what the society breeds and it teaches. That to have relationships, open relationships, to have this loose life is normal. No, that's not the essence. That's not the default position of a Muslim. The default position of Muslim is to be a chaste individual, is to be a pure individual. That's the default position. And likewise also in life, the default position of a Muslim is to be away from al-khaba'ith. That's the default position, that we're away from haram things. Unlike the society around us, is leading that people start practicing the deen after they dibbled and dabbled in everything. I'm not saying it's wrong that they repented back. I'm not saying that. But that wasn't a default position when many of us were growing up. It was very rare. It was very rare that a person would carry out these haram things openly inside society. They would do it openly inside society. It was very rare. They were downcast. They were an outcast. There were people who are known as the rebels inside society. Now it's common. We praise, we glorify this. You know, if a brother is doing something wrong, we glorify it. Person's trafficking in haram, doing haram, shanking people, killing people, doing this, doing that. We glorify it. We praise it. We look up to it. You know, I've said it many times. It was down to me. When such people, they die inside a society, I would refuse to pray upon them. Because I'm no fool. When people come and say, well, maybe he was a good person, maybe he was this. Well, a person spilling all this inside that society and doing this inside that society, what goodness do they hold? What goodness do they hold? Because a person who has goodness will just keep it to themselves. You know, fuqaha, they mention that if a person is drinking khamr, drinking haram, may Allah forbid. You know what fuqaha have mentioned? If you're drinking haram, you're in a private circle, you're drinking haram, you're taking drugs, whatever it may be. When you offer it to the brother next to you, you know what you should say to them? You should say to them, ittaqillah. You should say to them, fear Allah. Doesn't it sound strange? How can you say to your comrade, your homeboy, say to him, you offer him these substances, say to him, you know what, akhi, fear Allah. Why? Because maybe it might go into his heart, he may restrain. He may stop doing it inside his life. That's what the Sharia says. That if you're exposed to doing it, have this remorse that, you know, I'm maybe because of my age, my life, and what I'm doing, that I'm entrapped inside this. But I don't want you young bloods to be involved inside this. I don't want this to take place inside your life. I don't want this to go into your blood system. Look at the amount of heroin, drug addicts in Tower Hamlets walking around on the streets, begging for money, picking up cigarette butts. You know, I feel ashamed to even say this. I feel ashamed even as any human being, that I see them in that evil state that they've got themselves into. And if we don't address it, we glorify it, we think, oh, that's good. My man's rolling a good life. It's all a fake life. It's all a dead-end life that all this leads to, that we, as youth, we think that this is going to give me easy money or give me respect inside my society. There's no respect. There's no respect in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As they say, the way that you live is the way that you die. Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi. A man is on the religion of his friends. And the hadith, it continues. So let every single man, individual, look at who his friends are. Simple, that's it.
Please like, share and subscribe to the Digital Minbar YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. Please also like, share and subscribe to our Facebook and Twitter. Links in the description of this video.